Graduated with a degree? Great. But now let's make sure that you don't graduate broke. In this video, we're diving into the money tips for new graduates because YOLO is not a budgeting strategy and saving fancy for later shouldn't be my retirement plan. Let's turn that entry level salary into expert level money. Wait, subscribe before your bank balance goes to you. Also, I've added the timestamps for you. So let's start with basics. Financial health is not just how much you earn, but how well you manage, plan, and then save. Think of it like fitness for wallet. So financial health basically is knowing your finances, saving for your retirement and emergency. I know I sound preachy, but so is the situation. So I need to. First things first, managing your paycheck. Managing your paycheck, you could use tips like you could set aside money for your expenses and ensure that your bills are covered. Also, you could track your spending via apps like the Good Budget, the Walnut, and the MoneyWheel. These are some excellent apps. Else, what you could do is you could simply go old school. I mean, you could simply rely on the bank statements that you've been given, and then you could know what your budget looks like. The idea is simple. You should know what your budget is.
Next step is to budget. I know I've repeated this so many times, but it's so important. Here are some quick tips. Number 1. Gather your income receipts and expenses. Now, when you subtract expenses from income, whatever residual you get is your playground for future. Number 2. Don't forget to budget for savings. Savings doesn't come naturally to me. I think that could be a case for you as well. We have this innate tendency to splurge our paychecks mindlessly when we get a job. In those moments, a good way of holding up could be treating savings as an expense like a bill. Last, you can manage personal finances by reviewing income sources. Management of personal finances can also be done by methods and the apps like Pocketsmith.
Now, for those of you who just can't live within their means and find it really hard to just not spend, I have something for you.
Envelope system is a very useful way of allocating money. All you have to do is put money in an envelope. You could use different envelopes, assigning each envelope a category, like groceries, travel expenses, bills, and so on. These are the expenses for which you can have a rough estimate. This increases the awareness, and also this method fosters natural spending limits. And when you have to spend for, let's say, groceries, you simply take money out of that envelope. The best part is you could give yourself brownie points if you manage to save something from your personal finance envelope. The sum you save could be simply transferred to your savings leisure activities as well. Remember, if you're continuously running out on your allocation, maybe it's a cue to overspending.
You could also go for apps like Good Budget, Envelope. So these apps basically simulate the entire envelope system, okay, digitally. Students loan basically help you pay off for your education. Here are a few tips that you can keep in mind. So when it comes to the repayment, you need to choose wisely. You need to pick up maximum repayment tenure. When you pick up maximum repayment tenure, what happens is that you provide yourself or you give yourself that flexibility. And with maximum repayment tenure, your EMI always move towards the lower end. I'm emphasizing upon this maximum repayment tenure because sometimes what happens is that we tend to underestimate the average salary, and then we think that we might be able to pay the entire sum and our salary will be higher, while that's not the case because market is at times unpredictable. So you need to be very wise with every decision that you're picking up, specifically when it comes to loan. While researching for this video, I came across this remarkable channel, We Make Scholars, and I'd suggest you check that out. It has some excellent videos related to the study loans, etc. And in fact, the detail and the depth to which they've covered these topics is amazing. I think you can just go to that website and check things out over there. Speaking of loans reminds me of credit score. New graduates don't really have credit score even if they are paying off their student, and just into your job you will not have enough time and months to generate a credit score for yourself, isn't it? By the way, I've discussed credit score in detail in one of my videos and I've added the link on the top. Please check that out in case you're interested. So here are a few things that you need to know. The first thing is that you should know that even if your credit card is approved, your initial credit limit can be very small or very low. And once you start paying off your debt, your credit score is going to improve and your credit limit, of course, grows. Second is try to financially educate yourself. There are some remarkable courses that are available. One of them is on National Institute of Securities Market website. Another is available on Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship website. I think you can check them out. They are free of cost. Credit card or debit card. While one lets you spend your own money, the other one also lets you spend your own money, but later charges you for doing that favor.
Ever wondered which plastic rectangle is your friend and which one's just pretending until it lands you in debt? Yes, pretty much like humans. Credit card and debit card differ structurally. While debit card uses account balance, credit card uses borrowed funds. Here are some quick differences between the two. Speaking of debit card, you use it, but only up to the amount that's there in your checking account or savings account that debit card, of course, is associated with. A credit card, on the other hand, has a limit on the amount you can spend up to by credit company. Advantage of using a credit card is it helps you with your credit score, and you could call a credit card company if you lose the credit card. It prevents the fraudulent uses.
Here are my tips when you're getting a credit card. First, compare the credit card facilities of at least three companies. Best practice is to start with one or two credit cards. You see, with this, you'll be able to manage your spending, and at the same point of time, you'll be able to stay within your budget. You should always be able to pay the bill that's coming your way and not overspend. I'd recommend you pay off your entire credit card balance each month if you can. If you don't do so, what happens is that you're going to accrue interest on your balance and then you'll end up paying more in total. I've advocated for emergency funds so many times. It's basically a savings account with at least 6 months of your monthly expenses set aside.
So, when do you even use your emergency funds? You use it either when your income stops or when your income reduces. You see, in this way, you'll still be able to pay your monthly bills without worrying about it because your monthly bills don't
So
stop.
here are my tips in this regard. You can create an emergency fund for at least 6 months period. Now, having said that, how quickly it gets exhausted depends upon how aggressively you're spending the money. Also, you could make sure that there is no debit card attached to it. In this way, you're not enticed to withdraw money and spend some from your emergency fund that quickly and it stays for a little long. Now, for retirement, what you could do is you could maximize your retirement savings by going for employer matching plans. Matching programs, what happens is that you put 5% and your employer puts 5% too. As a general thumb rule, you put 10 to 15% of your income for your retirement. There are some potential advantages of saving in a retirement account versus savings in a regular savings account. Point to note here is that early withdrawal can lead to tax penalties as well. It's nice to think retirement early on because the younger you are, the more time you have. Still keeping all your money in savings account, that's cute, but your money deserves a glamour. Talking investments here, where your future self will high five you for starting early. When it comes to investments, educating yourself is very important. You could depend upon the books that are there for the new investors or maybe the trusted websites that are there. All of them are very useful and you need to.
These are the types of investments: stocks and bonds, ETFs and savings, mutual and index funds, certificates of deposits. These investments differ in risk. The risk could be greater or lower, and so could be the reward.
Your investment strategy should depend upon how comfortable you are with risk. You can also decide upon the time. All this helps you navigate the high risk situation effectively. Investment is a great way to create wealth. The younger you are, the more time you have for that investment to grow. The last but not the least is smart spending, basically when you're making wise decisions on what you're spending your money on.
The key is to understand needs versus wants. While needs are essential for living, wants are non essential items like luxury.
Smart spending is what do I need, and then moving towards what do I want. Moving towards your wants when you have that little extra. You can stick to your budget to avoid high cost situation as a new graduate. Another way is to categorize a fun category. Once your expenses are paid off, you can enjoy that the spa treatment that you've been postponing for the long. Fun expense is a must. Pay attention to your finances, your money. Mindful spending is when you pay close attention to your finances. When you're doing mindful spending, you're basically aware of your numbers and you balance them out with the help of your budget. You could also go for the resources online, like Nerd Wallet is a great resource. That's it. Simple tips, big impact. Like, share, and subscribe for more.
Hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to hit thumbs up and subscribe. We'll be back with more such videos.